Hello,
Hi.
we're back again. Which
Episode
episode was
6.
it? 6.
Episode 6.
Oh, mind, before we even started recording, I'd already said, which episode is this? And
This
he was like, 6. Let me
6.
just check.
And then you hit record and then go, wait, where are
Where
we?
are we? What, yeah, what's the
Who
day?
am I?
Where
What
are
am I
we
doing? What's going on?
Who am I? Do you know why? We're recording it on a different day. That's why we're doing it on Monday instead of Sunday.
I know. I'm
So
sorry.
it's a bit like...
That's definitely my fault.
It's unusual, especially like this time in the morning as well.
Yeah, it's pretty early.
Normally it's Sunday afternoon chill out. Today it's like Monday morning. I'm like, oh god, it feels like I'm at work. So today, should we talk about...
We're talking about conversion therapy.
Yes, the hot button topic at the moment. And I think it's because obviously we did Trans Awareness Month last time.
We did.
And obviously this time we want to kind of continue with the theme.
Do you know what? I was talking to my girlfriend yesterday, or it might have been the day before, and I said, you know what's really funny is that obviously we're going to do conversion therapy for this week after everything that came out in the press. And I said, what's really funny is 2 episodes ago, you asked me a question if I thought anything like Section 28 would ever come back into fruition.
I did,
and my response was, not complete quote, but I don't think Section 28 would come back in, but something would happen that would harm the trans community, and here we are 4 weeks later with the non-ban of conversion therapy for transgender people.
Burn the witch. No.
literally I just thought that was really, really funny.
Yeah, it is strange. It does, in some ways, it really does feel like we've sort of stepped back in time at the moment. We should probably get into it a little bit, actually, before we
Well, I'm going to... So before we go off then, I'll tell you what... I will read what conversion therapy is for anybody that doesn't know. So, conversion therapy, also called cure therapy or repetitive therapy. Conversion therapy refers to any form of treatment or physiological therapy that aims to change a person's sexual orientation or suppresses a person's gender identity. Therapies and prayer can be used, while more extreme forms can also be included, as in exorcisms or physical violence and food deprivation. LGBTQ plus charity Stonewall says conversion therapy is based on an assumption that being gay, lesbian, bi, or trans is a mental illness that can be cured. NHS and other professional bodies have warned that forms of conversion therapy are unethical and potentially harmful.
So that's effectively what conversion therapy
what it is.
And it's very prominent in the US states for very specific areas, and in the UK it's not widely accepted, nor is it widely used, but it's still something that is almost like a threat that looms over those that are in the LGBTQ plus community. And this was the reason why why people have campaigned to say it needs to be removed. This sort of mentality that being gay is wrong and that you need someone to effectively come in and cure you is harmful to anybody who's in the gay community, the lesbian community, trans, bi,
Well, again, for another discussion from over the weekend was that it was predominantly used by people of a religious background. I don't know if that is still the case now, but that's what makes it with religion changing, like what we've discussed in previous episodes, and the fact that people that are religious are more accepting of LGBTQ plus people, it doesn't particularly make sense that conversion therapy even exists anymore, to be honest.
Strange, isn't it? Because it's kind of like you would accept people... Basically what the government did was they said at the beginning of their campaign, before they were elected, oh, we're going to outlaw conversion therapy. This is big on our list of things to do. And then, basically saying it holds no key in a civilized society. This is wrong. It's outdated practices, blah, 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 blah.
Well, let's just go back to the beginning. So the law was announced... Originally, the law was announced that they were going to change it in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Queen confirmed it in her Queen's speech last year.
Yeah.
So... the government have said they're going to do something in 2018. The Queen has then confirmed that they're going to do that, and then they've just done a complete
180.
180. They're now like, oh, actually, That's not what we're going to do. And I'm not. I mean, the UK government is a mockery anyway. Let's be fair; it's just a running joke. But what surprises me even more is that they've made the Queen look like a fool.
They have for a lot of things though, and just to sort of go off from the whole conversion therapy thing, this Tory government has failed to deliver on any of its fucking promises that it originally had, and it just keeps backpedaling month after month, year after year, week after week, and saying, oh, this was the plan, but plans change. No. You made a promise. You made a promise to the UK people and have failed to deliver it. It's so annoying to sort of see this happen, because I think to myself, in any job I've ever done, if I'd made all of these grandiose statements and said, I will do this, I will do that, and then failed to do them, I would have been fired. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And then all of these lot are still in government, like, oh, let's throw a party for how well we did. And it's like, no, you literally failed to deliver on every single one of your promises. Sure, you got Brexit done, and that's done nothing but causes a world of shit. So
well, on top of that, so obviously I did some reading over the weekend, and the reason that they haven't gone... So for context, the government announced that they were not going to ban conversion therapy. That was on Thursday the 31st. So the document was leaked by somebody. We don't know who.
We don't know who.
It's a very angry gay person. It has to be.
I imagine
So it was leaked on Thursday the 31st of a document saying that over 30 MPs are backing it not being banned, except for one. And that one person that didn't back it is because he's gay. The rest of them are straight white men.
Yeah. Ooh,
so that doesn't surprise anybody, let's be fair. And according to something, I think it was, don't quote me, I think it was something that Boris Johnson said, that there was too much going on in the world to concentrate on.
Yes.
Banning conversion therapy. Now, this doesn't make sense because this should have been in the works from 2018 when the original statement was released, and again last year when the Queen made her announcement. So just because we've got a war with Ukraine and there's housing price issues and inflation, how does that then affect conversion therapy ban?
Exactly.
The two don't, all of that does not coincide with each other.
Well, this is just it. He's got ministers galore. There's over 400 ministers in the Houses of Parliament, and each one of them is specific to a certain cause. So you have obviously the Minister of Energy, the Minister of Transport, the Minister of wiping your fucking ass.
The Ministry of Magic.
In the Ministry of Magic, yeah. Speaking of transphobe, J.K. Rowling, if you're listening now. No, but, he's got a minister for absolutely everything. So it would be one minister's job, as we've got in the UK, for the Minister of, Culture, the Minister of LGBTQ. They would be the one that would be working on this, not necessarily him as Prime Minister. So for him to basically use a lie, as it is a lie, and go, there's so much going on. There's a war in the world right now. Yeah, well, we can kind of deal with most things, to be honest with you. We could just stack it onto the pile of things that we've also got to deal with in our daily lives. This is bullshit that you would use an excuse or a lie to basically go, well, we can't, we can't ban conversion therapy right now. There's just so much going on.
What's funny is that none of it, like I said, none of it coincides. So that it's utter bull. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
The fact that they've done an about turn.
Yeah.
Is utter bull.
Yeah.
So that was released on Thursday the 31st, and then there was an official announcement made by the government saying that they were going to ban conversion therapy for gay, lesbian, and bisexual people, but not for the transgender community.
Yeah, so
this is where it's
this is where I lost my shit, because it was literally just like, we accept everybody except if you're trans. And it was like, I can't cope with that. I can't cope with that statement. I really can't. How could you say it's okay to be gay, but it's not okay to be trans?
Well, it was funny because then so the Tories campaigned against the ban, saying that for transgender people, saying that, and I quote from what I've read, saying it means that children who are questioning means that children that are questioning could transition without parents querying the decision. Now, I have to tell you that if anybody has ever looked at being trans or anything like, is trans, sorry, or anything like that, You cannot do it without your parents' consent anyway, if you are a minor.
Exactly.
You have to be of a certain age before you can transition without your parents' knowledge. Therefore, the statement is completely incorrect.
Oh, it's a total lie.
It's not like a little 10-year-old can go and get full transition surgery.
I'm going to be a woman now without my parents'
consent. It's not possible because I don't know a lot, but I do know some things, and I know that specifically in this country, it's NHS lottery. So it depends on where you live as to what resources you're going to get given if you identify as trans.
Yep.
But in order to change your name, you have to have been presenting as your inside gender for at least 2 years before you can change your name. And then when you do change your name, if you're a minor, it has to be signed off by your parent or guardian.
Yeah.
That has to be signed for by that. So you can't get away with it.
No.
And then to get onto the list to take hormones or testosterone, dependent on which one it is that you need, again, you have to have been presenting for so long. Mm-hmm. And if you're a minor, it has to be signed off by parent or guardian.
Yep.
And you also have to go to regular therapy.
Psychological therapy.
Before they'll even let you do that. Now, I think that you should go to therapy. Not because I think that the person is wrong and that I just think
we should all go to therapy.
We should all go to therapy. That's not even a joke. But you don't need to go to conversion therapy. No. That's not right.
No.
Should you go and see a therapist whilst transitioning? Yes, because it'll help you with your mental health and
of course, yeah. It helps you understand your feelings, your emotions.
Yeah, I'm not saying you should go to therapy because you're not transgender. Of course, you're transgender. If you know that you are, then you know that you are.
It helps with the dysphoric
but it
nature.
Helps before transitioning onto medication or before you're having surgeries. You should definitely have therapy, and that's obviously something that the NHS provides in this country. So when you look at this, I feel like it's being done on purpose because they'll save money through the NHS.
Of course.
Because if loads of parents started sending their trans kids to conversion therapy, it means it takes money off the NHS because they don't have to pay for any of these sessions or for hormones or testosterone or any of those sorts of treatments.
Oh, of course.
I feel like that's what they've done. They're trying to scramble back from COVID.
It's all a con. Of course it is. It's like with most things, to be honest with you. When you take a look at the actual parameters of converting in the UK, of conversion within the UK, i.e. transitioning from male to female, female to male, there are hurdles, there are stepfalls that one has to go through. Now, removing certain things within the Gender Recognition Act would make it easier for a person to transition. It would make their process a little bit more streamlined. It would make things a little bit more simpler for them. Where the UK government then gets off with this whole keeping conversion therapy in is that they then don't have to change the Gender Recognition Act. In that way, then they keep all of the hurdles and the pitfalls in place, which stops people from converting with ease. There is that sort of mentality amongst a lot of people, misinformed people, or inadvertently or advertently misinformed people, that kids nowadays will just go, well, that's it, now I'm a woman, and then that, tomorrow they've transitioned, today they are female, and it's like, no.
But that's not how it works.
Yeah, that's not even anywhere near close how it works. There is a lot that they have to go through. And it always seems to, from this standpoint of those that are against trans people, it seems to go against children. Do you know what I mean? It seems to sort of, they focus in on children, almost as though it's like this mentality of it's like they're being groomed.
Yeah, it's like they think that you're about to corrupt them, and it's like, that's not the intention. The intention is to protect the kids that are trans. Like, the percentage of trans children against
non-trans
children, queer children, is a minor percentage.
One, probably.
It could be a 1 in 100. You don't really know. Like, without statistics, you don't really know.
Yeah.
So we don't want these things because we want to turn all your kids trans or all your kids gay. We want to do it so that it protects the ones that are, so that it stops things like suicide or bullying, victimization,
severe mental health problems.
Yeah, severe mental health problems. Like, a lot of queer people end up with some form of mental health issue because of suppression and things like that. Yeah. That, just these. It's only a small step as well. It's not like it's huge. It's huge to us, obviously.
Yeah.
But to a heterosexual, how does it even affect you?
It doesn't, and this is where my argument comes in, is that in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't affect them at all. It's kind of like this whole thing of like, men are born men and women are born women and blah, blah, blah. But that's not the case. Or at least, yes, it is the case that you were born male, but that doesn't mean that you can feel like it. That doesn't mean that you have to feel like a man. There is so much more to this than just a simple man and woman ideology. There is so much more to it than that. And this is where they fail to understand it, either through fear or through just, I don't know, fear that they're going to end up in a world as a minority themselves. And it's kind of like that sort of privilege.
I don't think that I don't think it's possible to end up in a world where you're a minority. In that sense.
What, you mean like the straight white minority? But it could be, and that's what they fear, I think.
Yeah, but if they stop being a-holes, then they wouldn't have to fear it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, they
never...
wouldn't, but I do think that that's what it is. I think it's this fear.
It's never going to be an equal ratio of gay, lesbian, trans, hetero. There's never going to be an equal amount.
Yeah, it's not going to be the case because there just isn't enough of us. And I say there just isn't enough. We need more now.
We're here to recruit you.
Revolutionize now.
Be gay now.
No. Sorry, what I mean is, you're right, isn't it? It's never going to be the case that they would become the minority. But of course they're going to feel that way because of things like headlines where it says, oh, there's more trans people than there ever was before. No, it's just people
it's just widely reported on. Like,
yeah, exactly.
There's probably always been a shit ton of trans people. You just didn't know because you didn't have social media.
No, exactly.
Or because those people were living in fear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's not a case of that there's more. It's just now we're starting to understand what the true figure probably always was, to be honest.
You just would never have known. It's the same as anything, isn't it? Like...
History has a way of hiding what LGBTQ is.
Well, it has a history of hiding anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just LGBTQ history, Black history.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
with
so many things. Female history. It has a huge thing of it being a dominant. What's the song? This is a man's world. It just is, unfortunately.
Well, that's the one that's always brought to the forefront. The one that always makes me laugh is, I'm going to go completely off transgender people here, so I apologise, is the building of the Brooklyn Bridge. It was designed and started.
You could write a book about this.
It was started execution. They started building it, and it was done by a father and son duo, and the father died, and the son ended up severely ill and bedbound, and the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge was finished by a woman, the first woman to finish the construction of a bridge in history, but that isn't reported on because she's a woman. So that was my rant.
That was your rant. That was you going off topic. Back to transgender
conversion therapy.
So yeah, but this is what I mean. History has this shitty way of eliminating what once was and basically whitewashing, straightwashing, whatever you want to call it, the whole situation. So yeah, these people that really do want to see it gone. It's also like a fear of their own identity. There's that whole thing of the feminist-led whatever it is, where they basically turn around and be like, I am a woman, and woman means female born woman or whatever, I don't know. And then they are basically talking about how their identity as being women is being eliminated through trans females. So men that have transitioned into female. And I find it absolutely ridiculous to think that I would never, and again, unfortunately, when I say this, they would say, well, that's because you're a man. But I, as a man, do not feel like my identity as a man is eroded by a trans man, a woman that transitions to a man. You are a man. I'm not going to turn around and say anything different. And it's the same with a woman. I'm not going to turn around and say that you are anything other than a woman. Your identity, my identity, is not eroded by a trans person.
Well, they're just identifying how they want to identify, so I just don't see how it impacts your life.
Exactly.
How does it impact your life?
Exactly.
Does it really matter?
No. But they think it does. And this is where my argument kicks in, is that you can use all of these terms of like, women's spaces are no longer safe because of trans women.
But they're women.
But they're women. And the reality is...
They've probably been victimised against and hurt more than you have.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't mean to be funny. Like, obviously, as being female is one thing. Obviously, we get discriminated against on a daily basis. But if you're then a trans woman, you have being victimised against on a daily basis.
Yeah.
On top of being trans, on top of verbal abuse.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've transitioned, and then being told that you're not a woman, that you can't use female bathrooms. And let's be fair, we're just going in there to pee, ladies. We're not going in there to do anything else. Although I'm not gonna lie, we was in a bar the other day, and they're in there doing TikToks. So I mean,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, so what are bathrooms really being used for?
What are bathrooms really being used for? And do you know what's funny is that I identify as female. And I can tell you now, I've been peed in a men's bathroom before because the line on a woman's bathroom is too long.
Do you know the amount of times it has happened?
Am I wrong for doing that? So, is it all right for women to wander into the men's bathroom, identifying women to wander into a bathroom because the women's line is too long, but it's not okay for a trans woman to go into a woman's bathroom?
It's ridiculous.
We need some clarification on this, really, don't we? Because I just don't see the issue. A bathroom is a bathroom. You're going in there to pee and leave. And if you're women, you go in there in pairs.
Exactly. But this is where my argument always falls in, is that they turn around and say, well, women are more, prone to being assaulted by a man because, unfortunately, they do call trans women men, and it's disgusting, but that's what they do. And they say, well, they could come in here and just start assaulting women. I'm sorry, but if a man wanted to assault women,
they'd do it
he
anyway.
could just walk in anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you're trans or do not identify as trans. If a man is out there to assault or rape or harm another woman, they're going to do that regardless.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter to them because that's the mentality of somebody that is going to commit that sort of crime. It doesn't matter if you're trans, gay, lesbian, straight, bi, whatever. If you're going out there with the intention of assaulting or hurting somebody, regardless of gender, they're going to do it no matter what.
Yeah.
Whether it's in a bathroom, whether it's on a train, whether it's in a bus, whether it's in your own house, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter.
It's going to happen no matter what if that's what they're going to do. Because, unfortunately, you can't eliminate those people with that mindset.
No, you can't. And this is what I mean. It becomes very militarized when that is your mindset. When your mindset is, they're just doing this to start assaulting women, you've already, unfortunately, lost a debate. Because you're not prepared to listen to what I would call normal people who just want to live their lives. Do you know what I mean? A trans person is a normal person. They just want to live their life.
Sometimes I feel like they're the least likely to assault you in a bathroom because of how much stuff they've had to go through in their own life and everything else that they've had to overcome. The fact that they would assault you seems highly, highly unlikely. I've never read anything where it says that a trans person has assaulted a woman in a bathroom.
Same here. Right, same here. Where has it come from that trans people are just walking into bathrooms and just battering people? Where has that come from? It's got to have been from one of these. Well,
it doesn't exist, does it? Because how many times have we been out in Gay Village and stuff like that, and it's like co-ed bathrooms and things like that, and we've been in there with drag queens and drag kings and transgender people, community, queer people, gay, and straight people, and nobody's ever been assaulted in a bathroom.
No.
I've seen some things in bathrooms, but I've never seen anybody being assaulted.
I've got lived experience in some of these bathrooms.
I've never seen anybody being assaulted in the bathroom.
No, not unless they asked to be assaulted.
And again, that's questionable content, so...
But this is what I mean. I just don't. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It's been made into a non-issue. And the sick thing about it is, well, the real sick thing is that we've seen all this before. We've lived through this before in what was the separation of black people when they had to have separate bathrooms. And the reason why the statement made by these trans radical feminists is exactly the same as the statement that was made by the racists back in the day, which was, I'm not against them living their lives. I just don't want them with me, I just don't want them in my bathroom. Right, okay. So it's nothing to do with who they are, what they believe, what they represent. You just don't want someone who's not you in your bathroom, basically. So not only were they back then racist and abhorrent, now they are transphobe and abhorrent. And they can say whatever they want. They can say, no, we're not. We believe that they should be able to live their own lives, separately, away from everybody else in their own little community. I'm pretty sure there's a thing called the apartheid that happened when they did that. And I'm sorry, it's absolute shit. Absolute shit. And I can't stand it. I read through these things. I go down little Twitter spiral rabbit holes.
I don't go on Twitter for that specific reason. I hate Twitter.
I get myself too engrossed in it, and then I'm literally just sat there like, I am raged. And then, make a podcast about it later on.
I can't go on Twitter because I get mad about it. It was funny because when I was doing the notes for today's podcast, I was raged by that statement of protecting kids that are questioning, so they can't transition without their parents'
someone
knowledge.
Think of the children.
That made me mad. That already made me mad. I was like, that is not how it works.
No, it's really not. Here's the deal, though. If you are trans, if you are questioning and you are doing all these things, I truly support that. There has to be a lot of support for them. They have to be given a lot of support.
It's a big thing that they have to go through. It's
I do believe in going to people that are, to sit down with a professional psychotherapist who's going to listen to your needs and wants and make the best recommendations and try and guide you through the process.
In a healthy manner.
In a healthy way. And it's costly. And unfortunately, I think that's where you're right. The NHS are going to look at those figures and go, can you imagine how much fucking money we're going to have to pay for freaking therapists?
I don't think it's the NHS that are bothered by it, because like what I said in that statement, the NHS declared that it was harmful and damaging to people.
It's the government.
It's the government. It's not the NHS. I think the NHS are fully supportive of making sure people, because that's what they do, don't they? They make sure that everybody's healthy and they protect you and keep you breathing. So I don't think it's the NHS. I think it's the government have looked at this and gone, because I don't know how many people get sent to conversion therapy on a yearly basis in this country.
Well, unfortunately, we wouldn't know because those kind of figures are not open to us. Yeah.
Why would it be? But clearly, it's enough that the government have looked at it and gone, oh, this is how it feels, that it's enough that the government have looked at it and gone, well, if we stop conversion therapy altogether, then all these transgender children or adults or anybody that's trans are going to have to seek therapy through the NHS, claiming more money off the NHS. How are we going to make money back? Well, let's just not ban conversion therapy for transgender people. That's how it feels.
It does. I mean, we're not being tinfoil hat here, to be perfectly honest with you, but it does feel that way.
I can neither confirm or deny that that's real, and you would never get a question out of anybody in government to find out.
No, of course not. Can you imagine?
Because let's be honest, I can't see that there being that many people in conversion therapy that are gay, lesbian, bi. I just can't see it. Not in this day and age. Not now. Not in this country.
Yeah.
But do I think that it would happen to transgender people more? Absolutely. And do I think the government have thought, oh, we're going to lose a load of money? Yeah.
Well, it's weird because again,
potentially or they feel threatened because they're a bunch of straight white men.
Probably, but it's weird though because we sort of go back again to the history of how things have been within the gay community. So if you think back, God, not even that long ago, I mean, even if we go back 30 years, we're still seeing that being gay was something mentally wrong, that there was something wrong with you, that because it didn't really pass the normal standards of life. And then suddenly there's been this huge transitional switch whereby being gay, being lesbian, being bisexual, suddenly we're in trend, we're fashionable, we're on the cover of Vogue. I mean, I'm not, but you can get me there. Do you know what I mean? Just keep commenting and liking. But it's suddenly become like a fashion thing where we're in. And unfortunately, now it's the focus of something being wrong, something being unnatural. Or
they've turned it all onto the transgender community.
Yeah, you can see where.
Which is exactly what I told you was going to happen.
Yeah, it's weird to see history repeat itself so much. It started off as racism, then it went into homophobia, now it's in transphobia. It's like finding the next thing to jump on.
Do you ever feel like it's been done on purpose?
Yeah, sometimes I really do. Sometimes I feel like it's just like they've got a dartboard of like minority
and
groups
and they just it. That's the one we're going for this week.
Right, this time we're going to
next 30 years we're gonna yeah.
It does feel that way, literally. I just wonder what the next thing is. Do we
have to fight for this and get this overturned.
Yes.
Before you find out what the next thing is. But the second it gets overturned and people get over it, there'll be something else that follows it. There will always be something else that follows it.
Yeah.
Always.
I know.
Anyway, let's go back to this conversion therapy leaked story to then the double backing on their promise.
Yes.
So after after government announced they would ban conversion therapy for LGBTQ plus people, not including transgender. This country, so the UK, was supposed to hold. It was supposed to set host to the International LGBT conference called the Safe to Be Me conference, which is supposed to be held in either June or July. And I believe first of its kind, and I believe on Saturday they announced that they've cancelled the whole event because
they're blaming Stonewall.
They're blaming Stonewall, but it's not Stonewall's fault. Over 100 groups between LGBTQ plus and HIV and AIDS foundations have all pulled out of the event, saying that they will not take part in the International LGBTQ plus conference because how can you call it safe to be me when you're not willing to revoke your conversion therapy on transgender people? Exactly. Therefore, it's not safe to be you.
Well,
it's
safe
a
to
lie.
Be trans. Do you know what I mean?
It's a lie. So, yeah.
Safe to be me, unless you're trans.
The first of its kind conference was supposed to help support Northern Ireland with its movement of equal marriage. Yeah. And it was also supposed to appoint the nation's first LGBTQ plus advisor. It's all gone down the toilet.
Of course it has. And in a way, something you kind of feel like they did this on purpose. Now they don't have to pay. But having said that, so it kind of feels like they've sort of gone, we don't really have enough money to be doing all of this and host all of these nations. What can we do to get this whole thing cancelled? You know, a bit like sort of phoning up and going, I feel sick, I can't come to the bar. Do you know what I mean?
But what's so stupid is that could have brought in a lot of money into this country. Do you think it's that, or I don't know.
I don't know.
Or did you think that he was that naive enough to think that nobody would cancel?
Well, yeah, probably. I mean, the thing is, they now, unfortunately, now they blame Stonewall. So they're saying that Stonewall have held them to ransom for the thousands that it took to pay for this. And they're saying that until Stonewall obviously jumps back in, the government have said they've effectively wasted money now. Because they've paid for everything, but they've cancelled it.
But this is the government's own fault. You can't then go against Stonewall, people that have been there and supported us for over 50, 60 years, and say that it's their fault. No. It's your fault. You said in 2018 you were going to ban conversion therapy, and now in 2022 you've said, well, originally you weren't going to ban any of it, but then you've bowed to peer pressure and said that conversion therapy is now banned for anybody that's gay, lesbian or bisexual, but not for transgender. What on earth did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen? Did you think everybody was just going to go, oh, that's all
that's
right,
fine, yeah.
Because
not my problem, yeah.
I didn't pull the report, so maybe you can help me, but conversion therapy is banned completely in quite a few countries now. Even for all LGBTQ
Spain,
people.
France, there's quite a few places in Europe.
So then why in the UK, this so-called progressive country, have we not banned conversion therapy for transgender people?
This is what I mean.
What did he think was going to happen? Honestly, are you that stupid?
Did you really think that it was going to be like, but don't worry, the gays, lesbians, and bi are safe, and we was all going to go, yay! And then set off the fucking fireworks and throw the rainbow glitter around.
After
and be
everything
like, la.
You know, the naivety is clear there, because after everything that happened with Black Lives Matter and the amount of support and people rallying around that and what had happened, did they really think that if you then single out another minority group that sort of thing won't happen again?
Exactly. Encompassed within the entirety of what is LGBTQ. Do you know what I mean? Did you really think that sort of sidestepping where the T is, that was going to make it better? No. I don't want equality if equality means that someone within my group
is segregated.
That's not equality for me. Do you know what I mean? That's picking and choosing who you like. That's sort of turning around and going, we love the gays, not the trans. And it's like, no, that's not. You get me, you get the trans brothers and sisters, you get the lesbians, you get the bis, you get the agenders, you get the asexual, you get everything. Or you get nothing at all.
I agree.
It's simple as that for me, and I just can't believe it. And unfortunately, there is like the LGB center, you know, the ones that don't like trans people. And
yeah,
it's
but
like,
I'm not on board with
them.
this.
They're not part of my group. They're not part of
those
us. They don't march in my fucking parade.
The whole lettering is LGBTQ+.
Yes, exactly. Regardless of what anything else is. And yes, I do genuinely believe that he was that naive as to think that focusing his attention on the gays, the lesbians, the bis, and everybody else, and going,
well, it's almost
"Oh,
like he
you're
thought
fine."
that we wouldn't react, and like I said, the whole world reacted over Black Lives Matter. So do you really think that the whole of the queer community isn't going to react over you segregating the trans community?
Yeah.
Don't be so stupid.
No, exactly.
You literally had a riot not long ago. Do you really think you're not
want
gonna...
another?
I know you want another, except this is going to be with glitter and confetti.
Yeah,
so...
this is going to be the most well-organised, gayest
Structured,
riot
gayest
ever.
riot, yeah,
There'll just be drag queens like, no.
There's going to be wigs everywhere.
There'll be wings.
No, all joking aside, though, do you know why would you try and ruffle up another segregated group after you've just had one? Do you really want another to follow?
Yeah. Well, this is just it. Unfortunately, it's kind of the benefits of the Tory party right there, to be honest with you. There was something that someone on Facebook posted the other day, and it was a friend of both of ours, mutual friend, who we've not spoken to for ages, but it just made me laugh when I saw it. And it was money saving tips from me. I have only just one. Stop electing the fucking Tory party. Then you could save a lot of money. And I was like, oh, mate, there's a lot of shit to unravel with that, but it's 100% true. And it's the same with everything. You know, you want equality. Why did you pick the fucking Tory party? Synonymous with having, unfortunately, LGBTQ homophobia, lesbophobia.
Well, this is exactly what happened, though, isn't it? People that have voted for the Tories are people that are homophobic.
But I couldn't
in my opinion,
I couldn't say that.
Not all of them, but I think some of them.
98% of people voted for them.
Because they like Boris Johnson, even though he's a blithering idiot.
No, they didn't vote for Boris Johnson. Think about it this way: they voted for Theresa May.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
sorry.
it was not voted for Boris.
No, they voted for
Theresa.
Theresa.
In afterwards.
But the thing is that Theresa May obviously was the one that announced it in 2018 that conversion therapy was going to be banned. So
this is what I mean. This is where it's like it's been such a hellscape of the past 4 years. No wonder the UK is currently crumbling under its own weight. They elected in the Tories, who have gone through 80 prime ministers at this point, it feels like. It took them 100 years just to get Brexit through. They've fucked the economy, something royal. And now they're fucking with the gays. And I don't even get a good thing from it. Do you know what I mean? And they're just like, oh, we'll just push the stick in further. Fuck off. Buy me a drink.
Buy me a coffee.
Make trans rights real. Don't you dare try and pacify me with a tiny little we're okay with the gays. I'm sorry. We need a huge reform. And something tells me that the Tory government are not going to be the ones to do it. I just see more obstruction, more lies, more corruption, more problems that come with that party.
Well, again, on top of what I read, this is the last thing that I got, was that the Tory government specifically, were fully aware that there was going to be a backlash.
How could you not be?
They were made aware that there was going to be a backlash and a fallout from the LGBTQ plus community if they proceeded with this, and they still proceeded with it anyway.
Yeah.
Although because of the leaked document that happened on the 31st of last month, that's why they backtracked the conversion therapy ban on the 6th of this month.
Yes.
Because obviously everybody'd read this leaked document that's definitely come from inside the government and absolutely lost their minds.
Yeah.
So then he's clearly done this as a cushion so that he doesn't look like a blithering idiot, even though he's a blithering idiot.
He is an idiot, yeah. Well, so he doesn't like a homophobe or transphobe or...
But he's still... he looks like a transphobe.
Yeah, of course he does.
It looks like a transphobe.
To me, he looks like a homophobe as well, if I'm honest with you, because the origin document that was leaked, when you read it, did not have in there statements to say that it was not going to be revoked for lesbian, gay, bi people.
Oh no, I know. In the original statement, it was that it was never going to. It was the whole thing was going to continue. They were going to just continue to have conversion therapies.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I know that.
So to me, it looks like he's a great many-a-phobe, unfortunately.
He's just back. He just changed his mind.
Backtrack on this because unfortunately, the voices are many of the gay, lesbians, and bisexual community, but not enough in the trans community because people either there's not enough of them, or they don't want to speak up, or they're too afraid to. And so where their voice came from was places like Stonewall, was, communities like the gay community and everything else, and LGBTQ Alliance and stuff like that turned around and was like, no, fuck you. This isn't right. And that's when he's like, oh, but I didn't mean you guys. I didn't mean you. And I was like, no, this still isn't right. This still isn't good. I can't deal with the incompetent levels of it, and I can't deal with the sort of, this is now unfortunately not going to be revoked, and it will be within government now for another, if he gets elected again, for at least another 4 years.
Potentially. Well, if he's still in government, it's not coming out. But the thing is then they've got to go back through the whole thing again of if he gets kicked out this time, then the next prime minister has to go through the whole thing again, and it could take a while. It could take another 10 years.
Exactly. Here's the thing though that part of me was thinking the other day whilst I was just sat not doing anything, twiddling my thumbs, and it was that not having a government that supports everybody, or not having all these things and having to constantly fight just for equal rights, it's fucking tiring, man.
So there's a new report. Sorry, I've literally just seen this. So there's been protesters obviously outside Downing Street Standard. We knew that was going to happen. Protesting to keep trans inside the ban for the conversion therapy. And their chant is LGB with the T. Yeah. I love it.
Well, yeah, because that's what all the posters around London are, where it's like there's no
LGB without the T.
Yeah, so that's what all the posters are currently doing. But
that's true. The gayest thing I've ever heard, though.
It's true though. There is no LGB without the T. But it's got to be hard work. If it's hard work for me, who's not even really facing that many issues, it's got to be hard for the trans community. And this is where it's like, can I just catch a freaking break at the moment in time and just move on with everything and move past it all? Why do we still have it when other countries don't? And this is where my other thing is. New Zealand banned it, and unfortunately, the land has not turned to lava. The cows have not eaten themselves.
Their economy is fantastic.
And the world is perfectly fine in the little island nation. And they are bigger than us, an even tinier island nation. And yet, in our country, no, we can't do that because then the sky will turn grey and the world, devil himself will come out from underneath his pit. It's not happening anywhere else, is it? So, if we are unable to create an equal society, that speaks volumes about the people that are in it and the government, which is clearly failing to create that. Clearly we have the wrong people in power.
So, according to this report as well, that I've only just seen, LGBT campaigner Peter Thatchwell is in the crowds. We all know him. He likes to kick up a good old stir.
Aye.
And he's basically, and I'm going to quote this straight out of the paper that he said, he's standing outside Downing Street saying that we were promised a total ban and Prime Minister Boris Johnson has given us a half-baked ban which will never ever be accepted.
Yeah.
The only ban worth having is a ban for everyone, including trans people.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just leave one part of our community out because it suits your needs. It's even more hilarious because they've had so many debates on this and, we want to approach the specialists and understand and blah, 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 and we need more guidance on it from no. Okay, why not just get some people in from some other countries that have already done this? Because clearly it's been done and worked in other places. So evidently our scientists, specialists and blah, blah, blah are trailing behind or fucking incompetent. Do you know what I mean? One of the two.
It's not that. If we're being honest, it's either a money issue or it's a homophobic issue. It's one or the other.
Or both.
Or both. There is nothing else to say on the matter. It's one or the other, and it's outrageous and it's wrong and mad. Mad
as hell. Here at A Sure Thing LLC, we're not an LLC, but here at A Sure Thing, we like to say that we welcome all members of the LGBTQ community, regardless.
Absolutely.
I have nothing else to say. I've got my rage out for this morning. Feel good. I've done all my meds today.
Don't want to tell people on air that you're taking meds.
No, this was my meds. This conversation was my meds.
Oh, this was your therapy.
This is my therapy, yeah. This is my version of therapy. I can't afford normal therapy on my salary.
Neither can I. I can't afford a lot on my
I have
salary.
to talk to the cat to get any form of like therapy, and even then, she just says meow the same thing over and over again.
Does she not say it in the different high-pitched tones, though?
Kind of, but then I do wonder, why paying her $2,000 a month is really,
Why are you paying her $2,000 a month?
She's my therapist.
That's why you're poor.
Yes, I'm poor. Anyway, that's all we have time for today. It's been a good one, this one. It's been short and sweet. We've got to the point a little bit.
I think, well, until I've veered off on the bridge chat.
Yeah, and until I started telling everyone how I take therapy lessons from the cat.
Yeah.
But we are going to leave it there for today. If you liked this, make sure that you leave a like on our YouTube channel or drop us a comment as well.
Subscribe or hit the bell button for notifications.
Damn it, I was interrupting you halfway through. And remember, you can also join us on Patreon, and then we also have a Buy Me a Coffee. You can buy us a coffee, because without coffee...
I've consumed too much today.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, don't buy us a coffee then. Don't you dare buy us coffee. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time.
Bye.
Bye.